Imagine a massive wooden log, split down the center. Pushing inward against that split is thousands of pounds of kinetic energy, desperate to snap the wood back together. The only thing preventing that violent release is a single, small wooden wedge holding the gap open. This highly pressurized scenario sits squarely in the middle of a wealthy merchant's garden in ancient India. Here, a massive, multi-tiered stone temple is under construction, meticulously planned and executed by a team of master carpenters and masons. These experts operate on a strict rhythm. They begin at dawn, painstakingly cutting stone and shaping timber. And when the midday sun hits its peak, they collectively step away from their workstations to take a well-earned meal. When the builders depart, they leave behind a temporary vacuum. The site is suddenly silent, but the materials themselves are not at rest. Half-finished tasks, like that heavily tensioned wedged log, sit in a state of suspended animation, loaded with potential energy. An expert knows exactly how to navigate this dormant workspace without triggering a reaction. But to an outsider, who doesn't understand the underlying physics, a paused system looks completely harmless, making it highly vulnerable to interference. Into this precise, highly strung environment wanders a troop of monkeys. With the humans gone, they descend from the canopy, treating the dormant construction site like a playground, picking up and dropping heavy, unfamiliar tools at random. Every chisel and saw on the site was left in a specific place for a specific reason by a master craftsman. The monkeys, entirely devoid of context, are purely impulsive, treating engineered systems as arbitrary toys. One particular monkey breaks off from the group. He isn't interested in the saws or the chisels. His attention is entirely captured by the single, strange piece of wood jammed into the center of the giant split log. He sees a loose object he can pull. What he fails to grasp is that this object is structurally critical. When an ignorant actor touches a tensioned, engineered system, they are blindly playing with forces they are utterly unprepared to control. Driven by curiosity, the monkey climbs onto the log, positioning himself squarely inside the V-shaped opening of the split wood. Looking at this diagram, we see the danger. He views the wedge strictly as a novelty, completely blind to the crushing forces it holds back. Sitting right between the tensioned walls of the log, he wraps both hands around the wedge, braces himself, and forcefully yanks it upward. The instant the wedge clears the gap, the system violently resolves itself. The wood immediately snaps back to its closed state, bringing hundreds of pounds of pressure crashing together in a fraction of a second. The carpenters didn't rig this log to catch animals. It was a completely neutral workspace, an inanimate object simply conforming to the laws of physics. The trap only existed because the interloper created it. By interfering with a mechanism he didn't understand, the monkey effectively built and triggered his own destruction. The heavy timber crushes shut with the monkey trapped directly in the gap. The ancient text states the brutal reality plainly. As was his destiny, he is severely wounded. The log is now resting in a stable, closed state. The immense kinetic tension of the wood has peacefully equalized, but the physical cost of that equalization was absorbed entirely by the creature who disrupted it. To ensure the point is not lost, the fable ends by delivering a sharp, uncompromising rule. One who interferes in others' work surely comes to grief. Curiosity is often praised as a virtue, but when applied blindly to complex pre-existing structures, it is a liability. Sticking your hands into a process you haven't taken the time to study guarantees self-inflicted disaster, not enlightenment. The story of the monkey occupies a tiny fraction of the dense Sanskrit text preserved on these ancient manuscript panels. This is the Panchatantra. Dating back thousands of years, it remains one of the oldest and most expansive works of strategic survival literature ever recorded. The architects of the text intentionally placed the specific story in the very first volume, a section titled The Separation of Friends. It acts as a strict gateway warning. Before the text teaches you the intricate strategies of statecraft, alliance, and betrayal found in the later chapters, it demands you learn the absolute most basic rule of engagement: know when to leave things alone. The warning scales effortlessly to the modern world. When you stumble upon someone else's project, workflow, or personal dilemma, you must assume there are hidden, load-bearing tensions holding it all together. Tampering with the load-bearing tensions of someone else's work springs a trap. The disaster is entirely self-inflicted.